Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show by MarketingProfs and the Marketing Smarts podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much, much more each and every week. Hey, if you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, grab a beverage, a notepad, or at least some style of writing utensil, and welcome to the show. Hello to all my Marketing Smarts live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you episode 59 of the Marketing Smarts live show. This week's topic is all about how to become a go-to expert in your niche or in your niche. It's up to you. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up and let's get ready to rock and roll. Of course, you know me. I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast, found on your favorite podcast app. Our guest clips today are brought to you by Adrian Moreno. Adrian Moreno began his career in the health and fitness space while also gaining unparalleled experience in hypnosis and natural language processing, establishing himself as a respected transformation specialist through the power of hypnotherapy. Now, going against what his mentors taught, Adrian spent his marketing efforts pitching and getting booked on top podcast. He grew his hypnotherapy company to $250,000 in only 12 months. Now he teaches coaches, course creators, and content creators how to do the same thing. Now, remember, the clips of Adrian Moreno today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview with Adrian Moreno and myself, make sure to tune into the Marketing Smarts podcast. Link to the full show will be in the description below. After the live show ends, let's be honest, it might be in there right now, but watch the rest of the show, then hit that link and go from there. Also, I do see that we have people from Indianapolis. We've got people from Seattle, Washington. We've got West Palm Beach, Florida. Thank you. And we've got LinkedIn and we've got some YouTube folks as well. Let's continue on now. In this episode, again, I'm talking with Adrian Moreno about how to become the go-to expert in your niche or niche. In this first clip, I wanted to pick out Adrian's brain on the idea of becoming a go-to expert and what he calls the Dream 100. Listen in as he talks about creating an audience based on where your future community already gathers. Interesting.
So first things first is the concept of Dream 100. I remember I got 40 high-ticket clients in one day from one talk. And the reason why I got 40 high-ticket clients is because I spoke to a room of 60 ideal clients. And the reason why 40 of them wanted to work with me after the fact was because the individual that endorsed me was somebody that they saw as a very high authority in their mind. They paid this guy hundreds of thousands of dollars to work with him. And now he's saying, y'all should listen to this 20-something-year-old kid at the time. And before you knew it, I had a roster full of clients after that and had a good little wait list for a while after that. And that's because I got endorsed by somebody that my clients see as an authority and respect. So what you want to do is find what is your bucket that you focus on? Is it health, wealth, or relationships? Chances are it's wealth if we're talking B2B marketers. And so now underneath that, when it comes to that's like the big bucket. Now, what's the subcategory to that? Oh, okay. Mine is, list buying or list building or what, let's just say that's what it is. Start looking for the biggest influencers in the marketing space that have mentioned list building. Start looking for the biggest influencers in your space that people are already listening to. Again, you want to find where they're already gathering. The easiest way to find where your people are gathering is find out who they're listening to. You can use BuzzSumo, I believe is what it's called. It's a pretty cool platform that helps you pick certain niches and see who the influencers are. But making a list of all of the influencers that your people listen to is going to make the next step a lot easier. And the next step is looking up all of the podcasts that those people have been on. Because when you look at the podcasts that those influencers have been on, you start seeing shows that your listeners are listening to. Like your ideal customers are listening to these podcasts because they're interested in these influencers. And you want to just start making a spreadsheet of all of these freaking shows. And then it comes down to, sending the pitch, right? Like, how do you pitch yourself and because it's like, if we're focused on becoming a go-to expert by being booked on podcast, all right? So now how do you send a pitch that makes you stand out? Number one, do it through a video, because nobody in the universe is sending videos right now. I promise. I've been a podcaster for 6-7 years. I ran a top show for a long time. So many pitches that I've gotten. None of them are video.
None of them are video. But did you hear that? There was a nugget in there. A wait list. Do you know your focus and understand that? Do you know your niche and the layer under that? What research are you doing around the niche or niche you want to be the go-to expert in? And do you have a list of influencers? Are you doing podcast research? All of the things that Adrian said. Are you or someone from your organization getting on podcasts to connect with an audience and be seen as the go-to expert? Put the answer to that one in the chat pane and let me know on X or using the hashtag MPB2B. And of course, tag me using @GeorgeB.Thomas. Now we'll get back to Adrian Moreno and his thoughts on how to become a go-to expert in your niche. But first I have to ask, are you part of the MarketingProfs community? There's some education that'll help you be an expert in your niche. Anyway, become part of the MarketingProfs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. Now, it's time for one of my favorite sections of the Marketing Smarts live show. It's In the B2B News, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips we find on the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business. This week, the title is 5 B2B Marketing Trends for 2024 by Jordan Bunning. This time of year ago, marketers planned their 2023 budgets. They were bracing for a recession. A common motto might have been, fasten your seatbelts, folks. We're going to be in for a bumpy ride. Now, your view now might be blue skies ahead, or you know there's going to be some turbulence, but it's time to get airborne. The motto for 2024, how do we take control of this plane and move more aggressively? Mere survival is no longer the operating principle. 56% of marketers say their companies plan to take risks when it comes to business strategy. That might entail an aggressive growth strategy like a big purchase or broadened your organization's capabilities. But to keep learning more, read this article. Check out the link below when the live show is over. Get those 5 things for 2024. Let's get back to Adrian Moreno and his Marketing Smarts podcast episode. In this next clip, I wanted to ask what hurdle or hurdles will get in the way of leveraging this idea of being an expert in your industry, your niche, your area of expertise, if you will. Listen to Adrian and his thoughts around the major hurdle, but also listen in on a couple of mindsets that are important for you during this journey as well.
Really themselves, to be honest. It's just the whole, like, oh, I feel like my story's not that good, insecurities, because the reality is that's the only thing that ever gets in our way. You can know what to do. Now you know what to do, but if you don't do it, it's literally because there's something going on internally. And so as like, somebody who comes from like a really deeply emotional background in hypnotherapy and all of that. A lot of people say, drop the doubt and all of that. I just say ignore it. It's not a matter of like dropping the doubt. It's like, no, you're just going to sit next to me and I'm going to do the damn thing anyway. And I don't. And another thing is people say, have faith. Act like you have faith. You don't got to have faith. Act like you do. And so whenever you're pitching people, act like they're going to say yes. I assume every pitch I send, by the way, I assume it's a yes. every single pitch I send. That level of assumption shows in my pitches too. It's like a strong pitch. And so have a level of, because right now, if you're thinking it's not going to work for you, it's because you're assuming something. So I want you to get this. Everything in your mind that you think is true is an assumption. And you can assume anything else. And in the same exact way, you assume you're going to use the restroom when you go to the restroom. Assume that your story is going to be interesting. Assume that people are going to receive it enthusiastically. Assume that you are going to be the kind of guest that forces people to want to follow you. Just have that level of deep assumption about yourself and about your expertise, and that'll take you further than any podcast will ever take you.
Deep assumption about yourself. Are you in your own way to becoming seen as an expert in your niche? Are you stopping your own success? Do you have some work to do around the mindset that Adrian mentioned? Are there some hacks you can incorporate along the way? Hey, we'll get back to Adrian Moreno in a few minutes, but first it's time for some dope B2B learnings from the Vault of MarketingProfs articles. That's right. It's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article 1 this week is B2B influencer marketing, the good, the bad, the ugly, with Mike Alton. If your mental image of influencer marketing is a social media ad of a famous model holding a bottle of branded sunscreen above a CTA banner that says, "Buy now," you might want to rework your perceptions. We may need to think a little bit outside the box of what kind of influencers there are, says Agora Pulse's Mike Alton in this episode or a previous episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. See what I did there? He continues on. Influencer marketing is essentially word of mouth. It's essentially the establishment of trust and authority on behalf of your brand through somebody else. And every business can benefit from that. Article number 2 this week is 5 B2B influencer marketing guidelines for brands by Alexander Frolov. B2B brands worldwide are embracing influencer marketing as one of the most cost-effective and time-efficient, yet still impactful marketing strategies. Although influencer marketing was once considered a B2C play, B2B brands can also achieve heightened brand awareness and an uptick in revenue growth by running influencer marketing campaigns. In fact, 92% of consumers trust influencer marketing over traditional advertising, according to the Nielsen Consumer Trust Index. So, how can B2B marketers associate with influencers to deliver a dramatic boost to their credibility and authority of their brand in the eyes of the buyer? Want to keep learning more? If so, check out the links in the description below after the live show to get access to both amazing MarketingProfs articles. All right, back to Adrian Moreno. Let's dive back into this conversation of how to become a go-to expert in your niche or niche, whichever. In this clip, I wanted to get Adrian's ideas and thoughts on what success looked like. So I asked the question, how do we know we are perceived as experts in our industry or in our niche or the place that we want to be an expert? What the heck equals success? Here's what Adrian wanted to share.
Well, first off, is if you're being chased, you're no longer chasing people. Like George, the only pitching I do is just like podcasts. But I don't pitch people to buy my stuff anymore. You Google my name, I'm starting to become known. I've done a lot of things. So every single day I'm having 50, 60, 70 people join my email list and buying from me. So people want to buy from you. They pay you more expensively and they don't throw objections at your way. Like for me, for some context, your average hypnotherapist charges maybe $60 to $120 a session. If you wanted to do 3 sessions with them, you're maybe looking at about $500 on the high end. I charge $5,000 for 3 sessions. And people were not giving me any objections. They were like, okay, I expect you to be expensive, paying me in full, and being wonderful clients. So you're attracting those kind of people who don't send you an invoice and say, oh my God, please, I hope this works. No, you're attracting the kind of people who send you an invoice and say, paid, done, thanks. You're right. And so you're getting those kind of people, but you're becoming the kind of person who's being chased. And then when it comes to the success side of things, the other day, I didn't get a chance to go to my nephew's graduation because I wasn't in town. And so the other day, I took my nephew to go see Super Mario Bros. In the middle of the day. And I probably made like maybe $500 while we were sitting there watching the movie. And to me, that's success. The ability to take my nephew where I want to take him, when I want to take him. The ability to, go hang out with friends when I want to be able to do that. For me, success is not a certain number in my account. It's the ability to do what I want, with who I want, when I want, however I want to do it. And that's what it means to me personally. I don't care about having a certain amount of money. It's just, do I have the freedom to live how I want to live? And one of the things that I value more than anything is time and family. When my grandma passed away, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. It's the hardest thing I experienced. And the biggest pain was I told her I was busy every time she asked me to hang out. And when I reflected on that, I realized I had to change the way that I did business. And I was like, I'm not going to be working 60 to 80, 100 hours a week just so I can be rich and make money. I was like, no, I'm going to set up a business to where I don't have to do that. And like, I can see my other grandma who's still alive, and I can do these things. And I just don't want to feel that again. And so for me, success is, the ability to create a life where I don't have to feel that.
Whew, I don't know about you, but that stuff got real right there. Building a life that I don't have to do that. Success is the ability to create a life where he doesn't have to feel that. Well, dang. What freedom could you be enjoying? That's the question. What life can you design? By the way, I know we're supposed to be talking about creating a niche, but you need to start think about these things when you become that expert. By becoming a go-to expert in your niche, you can design the life of your dreams. That's what we're saying. You're going to get some words of wisdom from Adrian Moreno here in a few minutes. But right now, it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the Marketing Profs community. Yep, time for from the hashtag MPB2B community. We search far and wide in the hashtag MPB2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to you, the masses. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag. And second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you or your crew on the show. This week, it's Top Rank Marketing on LinkedIn. Their post goes a little something like this. Check out the all-new edition of our LinkedIn Elevate B2B Marketing newsletter featuring B2B influencer marketing in 2024 and the features of highly effective programs, 10-plus experts, predictions on AI and B2B influencer marketing, how to measure the value of SEO, how to develop strategic planning process, and so much more. And here it goes, hashtag B2B marketing, hashtag newsletter, hashtag B2B influencer marketing. See what I did there? That's a hashtag too. Hashtag MPB2B and hashtag B2BIMR. There's a lot of actual hashtags on the end of this, but you need to go check out the description, check out all the hashtags, click on that link for that newsletter and check out the post and read and learn more. Marketing Smarts viewers, I have to ask, are you going to be next? Get the spotlight on you. Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or X and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts Live Show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me in your post as well. I'm at George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and on X and Mr. George B. Thomas on the Book of Faces, as my friend Chris Broken would say. All right, let's kick it back to Adrian Moreno and some words of wisdom around this topic of how to become a go-to expert in your niche. Here's what Adrian Moreno wanted to leave us with as far as words of wisdom.
The world belongs to the people who ask for what they want. And experts, they ask for what they want by forcefully putting themselves out there into the world, by forcefully asking for opportunities. Like, you didn't come to me. I asked for this opportunity. That's because the world belongs to me. And with that kind of belief system, understanding that as a marketer, the world belongs to the people who ask for what they want is very important. And then one more thing about becoming a go-to expert, like a nugget of wisdom, is remember that anticipating a kiss is more desirable than the actual kiss itself. And what I mean by that is most people try to become the greatest experts by teaching the world everything they want to know and by giving all the value, everything they want to know. But when you do that, you kill desire. and you kill people's you kill people's energy and their interest in wanting to continue to follow you. If you don't know what I mean, next time you go to your partner, don't kiss them. Just hang out inches away from their lips and see the intensity of that experience as opposed to the actual kiss itself. So as a go-to expert, dangle what people want in front of them. Don't be so quick to give all the answers immediately in all of your content. Make sure every piece of marketing content that you do should be a vehicle. They're jumping in a vehicle and you're taking them to a destination. Nobody, like, if they get in the vehicle and they're at the destination already, I know people are like, yeah, you want to like take them to the destination. That's great. But in terms of marketing, you want it to be a vehicle. You want it to be something that they're like anticipating the entire time. And so do what you want with that. With that little piece of knowledge right there made me a really really interesting marketer for people to follow, and it's made my conversions increase and all of that. Because I gave a lot of value here, but if you follow my content, I do give value, but I dangle it in front of people. Like, I don't give it directly to them. It's an interesting way to do it.
I've heard it said this way: always keep them wanting more. Anyway, I'm a big fan of giving them as much value as you can, but questions for you. Are you an expert? If not, how do you get there? If so, are you asking for what you want in your life and in your business? Have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know. Use that hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you're joining us on. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Time flies when you're having fun. Head to the description below. Click on the link for the full Marketing Smarts podcast with Adrian Moreno and keep on learning more about how to become the go-to expert in your niche. Remember, these were just a few clips of the original Marketing Smarts podcast interview. If you got value from today's show, hit that like, and better yet, share it with a friend or a coworker, colleague, if you will. To keep learning more, hit subscribe or watch additional MarketingProfs videos on your favorite social channel, or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can go tune into the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to become part of the MarketingProfs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts Live Show next week.